The earth is our mother. We must take care of her. The earth is our mother. We must take care of her. Hey Yunga, ho Yunga, hey Yung Yung. Hey Yunga, ho Yunga, hey Yung Yung. The sky is our Father. We will take care of him. The sky is our Father. We will take care of him. Hey Yunga, ho Yunga, hey Yung Yung. Hey Yunga, ho Yunga, hey Yung Yung. The sea is our sister. We will take care of her. The sea is our sister. We will take care of her. Hey Yunga, ho Yunga, hey Yung Yung. Hey Yunga, ho Yunga, hey Yung Yung. The forest is our brother. We will take care of him. The forest is our brother. We will take care of him. Hey Yunga, ho Yunga, hey Yung Yung. Hey Yunga, ho Yunga, hey Yung Yung. Welcome, everyone, both in Cole Hall and on Zoom. I'm Paul Davis. I'm your worship leader today while Reverend Greg is on vacation. Don Ramey is your worship associate. Jay Steele is at the piano, and Steve and Kathy Walcave are at the computer controls. Thank you all. We start our service by ringing this bell 3 times. Traditionally, these 3 tones represent the past, the present, and the future. For me, they also symbolize the concepts of truth, love, and hope. The first is for truth learned from the past, including the truth that this land is unceded Ohlone land. These native people were conquered, displaced, murdered, and culturally suppressed. The past includes our forebears, those who oppressed, those who were victims, those who courageously resisted, and those who were indifferent. I believe we each have all in our heritage. The second is for the love we express in the present, both through learning and in action. May our love for each other and for all people lead us to repair broken relationships and grow incomplete relationships. The third is for the hope that our efforts will bring about a better future for our children and our children's children, moving inexorably, if often indirectly, toward lasting, beloved community.
Good morning. Thank you. Paul has a wonderful message for us today. I know because I peeked. He will give us he will give the native cultures of the Americas their due. They too are our cultural ancestors and our brothers. There are advantages to living a long time. One of them is living through periods of history and recognizing how things have changed. Back when I was a boy in the 1950s, we got mixed messages about Indians, as we called them, using the misguided term of Columbus. On one hand, they were admired as consummate outdoorsmen. Some of them, like Tonto on the Lone Ranger TV show, which ran from 1949 to 1957, were scouts and guides in the wilderness. They could read tracks. They knew where the quicksand was. Ironically, Tonto is Spanish for stupid or fool, although the creator of the Lone Ranger, Franz Stryker, thought it meant wild one in the language of the Potawatomi tribe in Michigan where he was living at the time. Pathfinder red men notwithstanding, the white man was always the hero of the story. Guys like the Lone Ranger or Davy Crockett absorbed all the useful indigenous knowledge and added their own cool tricks as well, such as firearms and horses. But still, the bravery and free spirit of the native people was admired. I recall a big neon sign near my uncle's cabin at Fish Camp just south of Yosemite. It marked the entrance of the White Chief Lodge. I used to like to go up to the sign and stare at its massive presence. There he was, a colorful Plains Indian chief with proud profile and big headdress, and a dignity of expression that looked like he was carved out of a rocky cliff face. Too bad actual California tribes didn't look that way. Apparently they were not grand enough for the great neon white chief. But the 1950s American culture had another view of Indians. We saw them as savage and threatening, attacking wagon trains and being so inhospitable that the cavalry had to be called in. Luckily, the Indians were fierce and furious, but not good shots. They dropped like flies before the expert marksmen, pioneers behind the circled wagons. When I was 5 years old, I had my tonsils out. Grandpa and Grandma came to visit me in the hospital and brought a gift, a bag of plastic cowboys and Indians. I loved it. There were some horses as well. When I got home, I played with them in the dirt. The cowboys had a little civilization I made out of wood and mud. The Indians just lived off the land, not anywhere developed. They were back there behind the garage, by the trash cans and the rusty incinerator. They did have a proud-looking chief and one pretty squaw, but otherwise they were, once again, target practice. The plastic cowboys wiped them out when they came to stake their claim. I'm glad my daughters grew up in a more enlightened time, and I myself have had to learn that there really is a white culture, and it's sometimes not that nice. Every one of us with a good heart is trying to change our society and way of life for the better. So nobody is second class and outside the circle of care. Everyone is respected. Come, let us join together. Please join me in this unison chalice lighting. It's the mission statement of our congregation. Thanks, Paul. I did test the striker. Ooh, it's barely making it. That's going to do it. Oh, I'm supposed to light at the end, sorry. The foundation of Mission Peak is love. We are a spiritual community of open minds, nurturing growth and healing in ourselves and all people. Together, we strive to live compassionately and courageously as we work for a nonviolent, just, and sustainable world.
Good morning. Welcome to Mission Peak Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Beth Schaefer. My pronouns are she, her, and until recently, I was a member of the board. We're so glad you've joined us this morning. Unitarian Universalism is a radically inclusive, non-doctrinal, non-dogmatic, open-minded, and open-hearted faith. We are people who are all coming from truth from different directions. We gather together across various identities, experiences, and beliefs to affirm and promote the inherent worth of every person. Together, we see our job is to love the change, love the hurt out of this world, and to be the change we'd like to see. If you're our guest for the first time, we welcome you. Here's a bit of information on how our hybrid services work. We use chat in Zoom or our book near the welcome table to share joys and concerns. These are personal milestones of importance which will be read aloud in the service. We also have a social hour after the service where we get to visit with one another in breakout rooms if you're online or on the patio if you're here in person. Someone from the worship team will give you more information about this immediately after the service. Someone from our membership team will put a link to our weekly newsletter in chat so that you can see all the events coming up. We encourage you to join anything that speaks to you. We also put our welcome email, welcome@mpuc.org, to request a newsletter or other information be sent to you. If you're here in person, our welcome table is right over there where you can sign up to receive a newsletter or to ask any questions you may have. Finally, please make sure your mobile devices are silenced. We're so glad to be together today. And let's end by asking everyone in Zoomlandia and everyone in Cole Hall to wave to one another and feel the joy of being one large, beloved community. Welcome and thank you to our members and friends near and far.
I've added a bit to our order of service to read the centering words because it occurred to me that some people, especially those on Zoom, may not have access to them. In addition, I've brought extra printed copies of all my words, which I hope will be helpful to some people. Will there be a quiz on this later? I'll leave these here for anyone else. I think I'm close to needing a hearing aid myself, so makes me a little more sympathetic. And they're not quite in the order because all of my incidental words are one packet, and then the time for all ages, and then the sermon. I offer 3 centering thoughts for this service. René Descartes was a 17th century French philosopher and mathematician. From him I offer, quote, "It is well to know something of the manners of various peoples in order more sanely to judge our own," end quote. For many years I have sought what I could learn of various cultures and perhaps achieved a drop in that bucket. I also feel this maxim is especially important these days. One of the great advantages of foreign students in our universities is to expose us to other cultures. Without them, we are less able to sanely judge our own culture. One thing I have learned from another culture is from the 15th century Native American Dagana Wida, known as the Great Peacemaker. Quote, "Thinking will replace killing, and there shall be one commonwealth," end quote. Working with Jigan Sasi and Hiawatha, he achieved a peaceful union of 5 tribes into the Haudenosaunee Confederation, known also as the Iroquois. Another is from the 19th century English biologist Alfred Russel Wallace, who, upon surveying his own culture, regrettably concluded, quote, "As regards true social science, we are still in a state of barbarism," unquote. And now our welcome song, number 196 in our hymn, in the gray hymnal.
Since we're not familiar with this, I'll run through it one time. Singer of life, all flowers are song, with petals do you write. Singer of life, you color the scarf, dilating bread with birds bred and bright. Joy is for us, the flowers are spread, singing is our delight. All together now. Singer of life, all flowers are songs, with petals do you write. Singer of life, you color the earth, dazzling eye with birds red and bright. Joy is for us, the flowers are spread, singing is our delight. Mortal are we, with all living things, with eagles in the sky. Even with gold and gain will not last, singing alone I know cannot die. Here in this house of springtime bestow songs like birds can fly.
Our story for all ages this morning is taken from the book Sequoyah, Leader of the Cherokees by Alice Marriott, illustrated by Bob Reiger. Sequoyah was a Native American of the Cherokee Nation. Though he had some white ancestry, he was raised and lived his life as a Cherokee. Though Sequoyah is the title of the book, the part of the book I am using is also about his daughter, Ayoka, and about their talking leaves. This tells of the great achievement which Sequoyah and Ayoka accomplished together. But just after Ayoka was born, Sequoyah went off to war. It was the War of 1812, during which Britain tried to reconquer America. The Cherokee Nation fought with the United States against the British invasion. While serving alongside white soldiers, Sequoyah saw that they used pieces of paper with ink marks on them to learn news, send messages, and receive orders. He felt this was a wonderful and very useful thing, but did not learn how to read or write English from them. Back home, he started by amusing Ayoka with pictures drawn on hollyhock leaves. Then he tried inventing a writing system from the pictures, but it was too difficult for Ayoka. So he simplified it, but it was still too difficult. Finally, his third effort succeeded. He had started with a symbol for each word, then tried a symbol for each idea, but what worked was a symbol for each syllable. Sequoia and Ioka showed the system to Sequoia's wife, Sally. She said, "This is a very big thing. It is too big for one man or even one family." Sequoia answered, "I will have to show the tribal council and the chiefs." The tribal council was very skeptical, but Sequoia, who had brought Ioka with him, sent her out of the room and then asked the chairman of the council to say something. Sequoia put marks on a piece of paper and then sent for Ioka to return. When she returned, she read the paper, saying the same words the chairman had said. It took only 3 days for the members of the tribal council to learn to write the Cherokee language with Sequoia's symbols. A printing press had been ordered to start a Cherokee newspaper. When it arrived, they had the English letters melted down and new Cherokee symbols cast. The very first edition of the Cherokee newspaper was printed using Sequoia's symbols. Nearly all Cherokees learned to read and write within a few years. The Cherokee literacy rate was much higher than the white literacy rate. Unfortunately, the white people had a bigger army and adopted the Indian Removal Act, leading to the Trail of Tears only a few years later. Here are a few of the symbols in the Cherokee writing system. In school, I remember seeing a book in a library in Cherokee writing and wondered what it was. After I retired, we took a trip to Georgia and North Carolina, where I saw the first Cherokee printing press in a museum.
Today we're having a special collection for the Sandwich Squad. Sandwich Squad is a Mission Peak Unitarian Universalist tradition. For 12 years, we've been funding and making sandwiches to be shared with those in our community who need meal assistance. It's a way we act on our values, and we have a good time making and delivering the sandwiches. Traditionally, they have been dropped off at 2 organizations, Safe Alternatives to Violent Environments, or SAVE, which supports adults and children experiencing domestic violence, and Second Chance, which helps people recovering from substance abuse. Both these are local organizations. This past year, we used Sandwich Squad to connect even closer to home. We brought the sandwiches to our neighbors living in the camp just 3 blocks from here along Washington Boulevard, a place called The Slab. The thing we like about sharing the sandwiches here is that more of us are able to be part of distributing the food, which is really a special moment. Usually I'm the only one to smile and chat with those who eat the sandwiches and the staff of the charitable organizations. I've even met 2 of the founders. They're lovely people, I can assure you, every one of them, workers for the good and those who receive the benefits alike. We're planning our next Sandwich Squad for Sunday, August 17th. Following our service, everyone is invited to make sandwiches in the kitchen here. It takes about an hour. We'll eat some of them together. I'm sorry. and then hand deliver the rest to the residents of the Slab. Please mark your calendars and plan to join us on the 17th of August if you are in town. If you can't be here, you can still contribute. Today, we're asking for financial gifts through our collection to continue this beloved MPUUC community service opportunity, Sandwich Squad. Any cash you put in the collection will go to Sandwich Squad, and if you want to write a check, just put in the memo line Sandwich Squad, or write that on an envelope and put it in the office mail slot. Your kind generosity through today's Your kind generosity through today's special offering will allow us to share and connect with our fellow Fremont residents in a special way during the congregational year ahead. They appreciate the sandwiches, and I'd say more so just the fact that we care and went out of our way to visit them. Thank you in advance for giving and participating. I've been on the Sandwich Squad since 2016, and the memories are all worth it, believe me. Now we're going to have our practice of generosity or offertory. We take up a collection on Sundays because our purpose in gathering is for more than just ourselves. We want to be sure that the ministries that infuse worth and dignity into our children, our youth, our programs of learning and leadership, and our ministries of anti-oppression and our work in the larger community and world are in place to meet the needs of others. There's a slide going to show you the different ways. It's kind of what I mentioned before. We hope you will make a contribution towards these worthy causes by mailing your check to Mission Peak UU Congregation at the address on the screen. You can also use the bill pay option in your online banking or drop your check in the Mission Peak mail slot at the end of the building, or pay online with a credit or debit card. Thank you for supporting and sustaining the efforts of our members, friends, and staff. Your contributions make loving, learning, and leadership more possible.
One of the things that allows us to find hope and meaning, especially in the hard times, is the love and support we show one another. If you have a joy or concern that by sharing with this caring community might bring the encouragement or resilience you are needing, please write it briefly now, either in the chat or in the book over there on the table beside the congregation. Please write briefly your name, whether you're sharing a joy or concern or sorrow. If you're here in person and would like to place a stone for a joy or concern, you may do so while the music plays. If your need is personal, you can also send an email to our minister for a follow-up conversation, or while he is away, to our community minister, Barbara Myers, or to our, what is it called? We have a committee. Encouragement committee, thank you. Oh, my brain is getting old. Jay.
The earth is our mother. We must take care of her. The earth is our mother. We must take care of her. Hey, younga, ho, younga, hey, young. Hey, younga, ho, younga, hey, young. Her sacred ground we walk upon. With every step we take, her sacred ground we walk upon. With every step we take. Hey, younga, ho, younga, hey, young. Hey, younga, ho, younga, hey, young. The earth is our mother. She will take care of us. The earth is our mother. She will take care of us. Hey, younga, ho, younga, hey, young. Hey, younga, ho, younga, hey, young. The sky is our Father. We will take care of him. The earth is our Father. We must take care of him. Hey, younga, ho, younga, hey, young. Hey, younga, ho, younga, hey, young. The sea is our sister. We must take care of her. The sea is our sister. We must take care of her. Hey, younga, ho, younga, hey, young. Hey, younga, ho, younga, hey, young. The forest is our brother. We must take care of him. The forest is our brother. We must take care of him. Hey, younga, ho, younga, hey, young. Hey, younga, ho, younga, hey, young.
Finally, one last stone for the hopes and hurts still too tender to escape our heart. We encourage everyone to contact those who have shared joys or concerns. In this way, we take part in the creation of caring community by keeping our hearts, our minds, our arms, and our doors open. Readings. In 1854, there was a meeting between Governor Stevens, the United States Commissioner of Indian Affairs for Washington Territory, and Native Americans of the Puget Sound area. Also present were a Dr. Maynard, who probably served as translator, and Henry A. Smith, a journalist who took notes. Those notes languished in Mr. Smith's files for 33 years, until he took them out in 1887 to write a piece for the Seattle Sunday Star. This is the only account of Chief Seattle's speech based on actual evidence. Mr. Smith began by saying, quote, "Old Chief Seattle was the largest Indian I ever saw, and by far the noblest looking. When rising to speak in council or to render advice, all eyes were turned upon him, and deep-toned, sonorous, and eloquent sentences rolled from his lips like the ceaseless thunders of cataracts flowing from exhaustless fountains." End quote. Here is a brief excerpt from Smith's account of Seattle's speech. Quote, "Every part of this country is sacred to my people. Every hillside, every valley, every plain and grove has been hallowed by some fond memory or some sad experience of my tribe. Even the rocks that seem to lie dumb as they swelter in the sun along the silent seashore in solemn grandeur thrill with memories of past events connected with the fate of my people, and the very dust under your feet responds more lovingly to our footsteps than to yours, because it is the ashes of our ancestors, and our bare feet are conscious of the sympathetic touch, for the soil is rich with the life of our kindred. The sable braves and fond mothers and glad-hearted maidens and the little children who lived and rejoiced here and whose very names are now forgotten still love these solitudes, and their deep fastnesses at eventide grow shadowy with the presence of dusky spirits. And when the last red man shall have perished from the earth, and his memory among white men shall have become a myth, these shores shall swarm with the invisible dead of my tribe. And when your children's children shall think themselves alone in the field, the store, the shop, upon the highway, or in the silence of the woods, they will not be alone. In all the earth, there is no place dedicated to solitude. At night, when the streets of your cities and villages shall be silent, and you think them deserted, they will throng with the returning hosts that once filled and still love this beautiful land. The white man will never be alone. Let him be just and deal kindly with my people, for the dead are not altogether powerless." End quote. I am here as one of the white men of whom Chief Seattle spoke, hoping to make the memory of the red man more than a myth, but a heritage for all. In 1930, an elderly Lakota shaman named Black Elk, who had been at Little Bighorn and Wounded Knee, decided to tell his life story through an interpreter to John G. Neihart, who published it as a book with Black Elk's blessing. Here are 2 paragraphs which illustrate Black Elk's attitude. Quote, "It is the story of all life that is holy and is good to tell, and of us 2-leggeds sharing it with the 4-leggeds and the wings of the air and all the green things, for these are children of one mother, and their father is one spirit." End quote. The 6 grandfathers have placed in this world many things, all of which should be happy. Every little thing is sent for something, and in that thing there should be happiness and the power to make happy. Like the grasses showing tender faces to each other, thus we should do, for this was the wish of the grandfathers of the world. Unquote. I am here on 2 legs, acknowledging the same mother and father, and all the children who are my cousins and the blades of grass. 16 years or so ago, I met 2 bears, a Native American at Lloyd's Donut Kitchen near my home. He was working on a story involving Native Americans, which I agreed to read and comment on. He had also published a book, American Indian Folklore, of which I have a signed copy, based on stories his grandmother told him. Here is a shortened version of the Hopping Stone vision from that book. Quote, "You see these 12 great stones? Yes. Build a sacred circle with them." The young brave gathered the stones and placed them in a sacred circle. "Do you know what you have done, my son?" "I have built a medicine wheel." "Yes. Go now and show me your place." He chooses the red man stone and sits on it. But after a few moments, his seat begins to smoke, and he leaps off the great stone, calling out in pain. The old man looks at him and smiles. Worried and confused now, the young brave stares and refuses to move. He calms his mind. Finally, the young brave takes a deep breath and asks the Great Spirit for help, and walks over to the white man's stone. But as soon as he sits upon the great rock, his seat begins to smoke, and he leaps off screaming again. More perplexed than ever, the young brave tries again, this time choosing the Oriental man's stone, with the same results. "How do you expect me to find my place in the great circle if I cannot sit on any stone?" "Perhaps your place is the hopping place, which is no place and all places." For a few moments, the old man leaves the young brave to his thoughts. Then he speaks again. "Listen." The young brave listens and begins to hear the 12 stones arguing. "Do you hear the stones arguing with one another?" "Yes, grandfather." "And do you know why they argue so, day and night, age upon age, without ceasing?" "Because they do not understand one another." The old man looks deep into the eyes of the young brave and then continues, "Since you are a hopper, your job is to hop from stone to stone and help them understand one another. You do this, my son, you shall find peace in your heart and help bring peace and happiness to the great medicine wheel of life. This is the task the Great Spirit has given you. Remember this vision, my son, and share it with those whom the Great Spirit sends to you. For this vision is not only given to you, it is also given to the other stone hoppers who have come to the earth to unite the great medicine wheel of life. End quote. I am here also as one whom the Great Spirit has sent to be a stone hopper, hoping to foster more communication among diverse people.
You think you own whatever land you land on, and that the earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. You think the only people who are people are the people who look and think like you. Oh, but if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon? Or ask the grinning bobcat why he grins? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come and roll in all the riches all around you, and for once never wonder what they're worth. The rainstorm and the river are my brothers. The heron and the otter are my friends, and we are all connected to each other in a circle, in a hoop that never ends. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, or let the eagle tell you where he's been? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? How high can a sycamore grow? If you cut it down, then you'll never know. And you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, for whether we have white or copper skin, we need to sing with all the voices of the mountain. We need to paint all the colors of the wind. You can own the earth, but still all you'll own is dirt until you can paint with all the colors of
Pardon me if I have tears in parts of this service. I recently toured a California mission where we saw a video history of the mission. To the best of my knowledge, there was nothing false in the video, but by what it left out, it gave a very distorted understanding for anyone who didn't know better. Our nation is being overrun by a culture which, with the force of government behind it, purposely leaves out history which does not support its distorted understanding. This distortion, in turn, undermines our ability to love and support our fellow humans. As part of my resistance to this, I bring you some truth I have learned, truth which I feel is important, but which has been little known, purposely not investigated, left out of teaching, and which is presently in considerable danger of being suppressed. The truth to which I refer today is truth about the native peoples of this continent. It is not the only truth currently in danger, but it is one which I have been blessed to receive and experience in the past few years. I especially thank the Sacramento Archaeological Society and its members for enabling me and others to approach these important truths. And I thank Jan Johansson and Joanne Frisch of that organization for reviewing my sermon. In the year 1492 of our calendar, no one knew that the earth had two great continental land masses separated by two great oceans. Though most people knew their ancestors had migrated around, the peoples on each side of the earth all assumed their remote ancestors originated not far from where they lived. I credit the map maker Martin Waldseemüller as probably being the first to discern the truth and to name the continents of the Western Hemisphere America after the explorer whose accounts led to his new map. But I will start long before 1492. Scientists have now concluded that humans originated in Africa, with chimpanzees and gorillas being our nearest relatives. From the beginning, humans used their upright walking ability to migrate. Over 1 million years ago, Homo erectus had reached Eastern Asia. Perhaps 60,000 years ago, Homo sapiens had reached Australia. Though it was formerly claimed that people had reached the Americas much more recently, there is now evidence of human presence tens of thousands of years ago. A recent scientific conference on the topic, which I attended with other members of the Sacramento Archaeological Society, was introduced by a woman of Native American ancestry. The gist of her comments was, "See, we told you we'd been here since forever." The first people of California may have come by boat along the coast. They probably migrated on. Their descendants may live now in Tierra del Fuego at the southern tip of South America. Later, during the last ice age, there was land joining Siberia with Alaska and a path between the glaciers. Many more people came. After the land bridge closed, the peoples of the two hemispheres were isolated from each other. At the very most, there were small trickles across oceans. I have been amazed at the parallel developments between the peoples of the eastern and western hemispheres. It seems that the original migrants to the Americas brought few skills, the most notable being the making of clothing and stone tools, woodworking, including boat building, and the control of fire. Highly organized urban civilizations developed in both hemispheres. We must conclude that all people have the innate ability to accomplish amazing results. The earliest well-known evidence of the abilities of these people, from about 13,000 years ago, are the beautiful tool and weapon tips called Clovis points. named after Clovis, New Mexico, where they were first discovered. These fine implements were actually manufactured throughout most of North America. The people of the upper Mississippi Valley learned to mine copper, possibly before anyone in the Eastern Hemisphere did. Copper tool and weapon manufacture continued for millennia, but never displaced stone technology. The peoples of both hemispheres learned to mine and work the soft, precious metals gold and silver, used by both for jewelry. But the people of Western South America were the first to discover and use another chemical element. When European invaders found them embellishing gold ornaments with it, they called it false silver. We now call it platinum. Perhaps the most significant achievement of people has been the domestication of cultivable crops, notably wheat in the Eastern Hemisphere and maize or corn and potatoes by Native Americans. The difference between our table corn and its wild ancestor is truly remarkable. The worldwide consumption of corn, potatoes, and other American crops is probably the most extensive cultural appropriation of all time. In both hemispheres, people began to create monumental architecture in stone. In school, I learned of the Egyptian pyramids and of Stonehenge, but it was only recently that I learned the largest pyramid in the world, by volume, is in Mexico. It is just one of a large number of pyramids throughout the southern portion of North America. In the land which is now the United States, an extensive civilization developed in the early Middle Ages, with trading connections from Appalachians to Rockies. Their central city, Cahokia, across the Mississippi from St. Louis, was at one time larger than any city in Western Europe. About the same time, in the Southwest, centered in Chaco Canyon, New Mexico, the ancestral Puebloan people constructed multiple-story buildings of sandstone on prepared foundations. These were the largest structures in what's now the United States until the 19th century. Their irrigation systems sustained their agriculture, and their petroglyphs give evidence of their astronomical work. In both hemispheres, people developed mathematics. The earliest stone monument using the number and date system later used by the Maya was inscribed by the Epi-Olmec people of southern Mexico centuries before the earliest record in India of the number system we now use. The Maya were apparently excellent astronomers, as witnessed their precise dating system and the number of excavated structures which appear to have been observatories. The Maya have been criticized for engaging in human sacrifice, but concurrently, in Rome, there were public gladiator shows in which people were forced to kill each other to the cheers and boos of the crowds. Paper also appears to have been invented separately in the two hemispheres. Egyptians kept records on sheets made from the papyrus plant. Middle Easterners figured out how to turn animal hides into parchment. The Chinese developed a fairly modern fiber-based paper, and Europeans found a great source of fiber in wood. People of Eastern South America kept records by knots in string. In Central America, they manufactured paper from the underbark of fig trees. This is enough different from Old World paper that it must have been a separate invention. The Maya made books using this paper, and the Aztecs kept imperial records on it. In fact, I have a book by an Aztec paper maker detailing the process. Alas, it is printed on our wood pulp paper. In the 15th century, a significant moral development was the campaign led by Dagana Wida in the area which is now New York State and the province of Ontario to end war. His solution was a federal governance structure for the tribes, which was later cited by Benjamin Franklin as a model at the U.S. Constitutional Convention. But I must return now to the year 1492, when disaster arrived on the shores of this hemisphere. There were many aspects of this disaster. In the exchange of diseases between Europeans and Native Americans, the Americans fared much worse than the Europeans. The Europeans assumed that their economic structure, involving serfdom, applied everywhere, and that native peoples should be treated like serfs. The result is best described in the words of Antonio de Montesinos, who preached to the Spanish conquerors in the East Indies early in the 16th century, quote, "On what authority have you waged a detestable war against these people who dwell quietly and peacefully on their own land? For with the excessive work you demand of them, they fall ill and die, or rather you kill them with your desire to extract and acquire gold. Are these not men? Have they not rational souls? Are you not bound to love them as you love yourselves?" Unquote. The response was not to open their consciences, but to transport slaves from Africa to replace dying Americans. When it was discovered that the Maya had books, nearly all of them were burnt by Christian fanatics under orders from Bishop Diego de Landa in 1562. This is not just unfortunate in erasing a source for Maya culture, but may also be a loss to science. When NASA was planning the Apollo program, they commissioned a study of ancient astronomical records to determine the moon's orbit and the Earth's rotation as precisely as possible. Ancient Babylonian data was available and went into the calculations, but any records from the Maya were gone. Astronomers who study supernovae have similarly benefited from Chinese records, but again, we have nothing from the Mayan astronomers. In the area which is now the U.S., no full writing system is known until the arrival of Europeans, but a rich set of oral traditions developed, some of which have now been recorded. During the War of 1812, Sequoyah, a Cherokee, saw white men writing and developed a novel writing system for the Cherokee. By 1828, the Cherokee were publishing their own newspaper, but in 1829, gold was discovered in their land in northern Georgia, leading to their eviction through the Indian Removal Act of 1830. Disney hero Davy Crockett, then a member of the House of Representatives, was one of the few who voted against this action of mass theft and ethnic cleansing. In 1848, gold was discovered in California, and outright genocide began. When California became a state, the budget included bounties to be paid for Indians killed. In 1847, Andrew Kelsey and Charles Stone had captured some Wapo and Pomo near Clear Lake, imprisoned them in a stockade, forced labor from them, including constructing buildings and searching for gold, and raped the young women, whipping any mother who objected to this. In 1850, the Indians managed to kill Kelsey and Stone and escape. But when the U.S. cavalry learned of this, they came, found a large group of Indians gathered on an island, surrounded them, and slaughtered them. The sole survivor was a 6-year-old girl later named Lucy Moore, who was playing a game in which she hid underwater breathing through a reed. She stayed there all day. In 1863, gold was discovered in Alder Gulch, Montana. Black Elk, then a child, later explained, quote, "Up on the Madison Fork, the Wasichus, that is white men, had found much of the yellow metal that they worship and that makes them crazy," unquote. This led to the Battle of Little Bighorn and the Wounded Knee Massacre. By the end of the 19th century, most California Indians had either been killed or herded into rancherias. Whole tribes became extinct. One tribe, the Yahi, was down to just a few members living in remote canyons in the mountains. 4 cowboys trapped and killed about 30 of them in 1871. Later, 2 of the last 3 were spotted and shot. But conscience was beginning to awaken. In 1879, Judge Elmer Dundy of Nebraska ruled that Indians, specifically Ponca Chief Standing Bear and his wife Zazette, were persons and therefore entitled to file habeas corpus. In 1911, the last of the Yahi tribe, lonely and weary of life, came down to the nearest white man town, Oroville, to be killed. The sheriff, perplexed, did what sheriffs do when they are perplexed. He put the man in jail. Then he sent for a representative of the nearest rancheria to come collect him. But a notice also appeared in the newspaper. A University of California anthropologist spotted this and promptly got on a train north. With no common language or translator, gestures were used to ask the Indian which option he preferred, and the response seemed to indicate he preferred the anthropologist. Using a dictionary of a related language, communication developed, ultimately including hundreds of words. The anthropologist introduced himself as Alfred Kroeber, but it was against the Indian's culture to introduce oneself, and there was no one left to introduce him. It was agreed that he could be given a new name, which was Ishi, meaning person. To integrate Ishi into the San Francisco scene, he was given a set of white man clothes and a job as janitor at the Anthropology Museum. He was happy with his new clothes, except the shoes. He would not walk without being able to feel the earth. He was a very organized person and helped arrange the museum. At one point, he froze for a while, then explained, "My aunt made that basket." In 1911, there was an election campaign to give women the right to vote in California. Ishi enthusiastically supported the effort, wearing "Votes for Women" buttons as he rode the bus, though he could not vote himself because the "subject to the jurisdiction" clause in the 14th Amendment was interpreted as excluding those born on Indian land. Ishi demonstrated how to make stone arrowheads and other implements. Much of what we know about stoneworking technology is due to him. Alas, he was already elderly when he entered his second world and died in a few years. At some point, Kroeber, the acknowledged expert on California Indians, was asked about the Ohlone tribe, and he answered that they were extinct. This error continues to plague the Ohlone people in their quest for legal recognition. In 1924, largely in response to service of a great many Indians in World War I, Congress adopted the Indian Citizenship Act, giving citizenship to all Indians born within the U.S. territorial limits. This was a wise move, as many Indians were needed in World War II, especially as code talkers who transmitted messages in their native languages which were unknown outside the U.S. And there has begun to be acknowledgement of individual Native Americans other than war and tribal leaders such as Powhatan, Tecumseh, Geronimo, and Seattle. In 1912, Sac Fox, Jim Thorpe, overcame the question of whether a Native American could represent the U.S. in the Olympics, winning 2 gold medals. Oglala Lakota Black Elk's life story was transcribed and published in 1930. Cherokee Will Rogers built a solid career as an entertainer up until his untimely death in 1935. Mohawk Jay Silverheels was cast in place of white men in red makeup who traditionally played Native roles as Tonto, beginning in 1949. In 1971, Navajo Ute Fred Begay, after serving in the Korean War, earned a PhD in physics and then worked 30 years at Los Alamos on laser-induced nuclear fusion energy. And in 1988, Congress officially recognized the influence of the Haudenosaunee Confederation in encouraging our founders to establish a federal form of government. We have come a long way. The arc, or rather sequence of arcs, I see is one of parallel development of features of advanced civilization in both hemispheres, followed by destruction of American peoples and cultures, followed by recognition of the value of what has been and is being lost. We have a long way to go, but now we must hold the line against regression and preserve what we can. Blaise Pascal admonished us to know something of the cultures of other people. I do know some, but only a fragment of what should be known. Nevertheless, this knowledge can affect my understanding and hopefully my acts of love. When I meet someone with Greek ancestry, I may think, they are the people who gave us so many beautiful statues and provided examples of democracy and taught the logic of geometry. When I meet someone with Jewish ancestry, I may think, they are the people who gave us the 10 Commandments and the teachings of great prophets and showed us how to survive despite being oppressed and slaughtered by the mightiest empires from ancient Egypt to Nazi Germany. And when I meet someone with Native American ancestry, I will think, they are the people who built the largest pyramid in the world, who nurtured and enhanced half the foods we eat, from corn to potatoes, and who taught that our circle of family and companions is part of the great circle of all humanity, which in turn is part of the interdependent web of all existence. Keep the knowledge of our Native American heritage alive. Keep respect of all people, including Native Americans, alive. Thank you. And now Jay will lead us in singing our closing hymn, which is in the Teal hymnal. I believe it's the very last one, number 1074.
I'm hoping you'll lead us a little too. river wash the mountain, fire make the sunlight turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain, spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. We are of the Spirit, truly of the Spirit, only can the Spirit turn the world around. Whoa, so is life, whoa, so is life, whoa, so is life, whoa, is life, whoa, so is life, whoa, so is life, whoa, so is life, whoa, so is life.
Thank you for working at that difficult tune. I chose all the music because of Native American connections. Don?
Please join with me in reciting these words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
I hope these words, reach an arm out, contact another person, or gesture to another person as seems good. Thank you. I hope these words from Black Elk Speaks apply to this morning. Quote, when the ceremony was over, everybody felt a great deal better, for it had been a day of fun. They were better able now to see the greenness of the world, the wideness of the sacred day, the colors of the earth, and to set these in their minds. Go in peace, return in love.